Birds are awesome animals to be able to capture as a photographer, but getting sharp pictures of them in flight can be rather difficult, especially if you're just starting out. So in this video, I break down 3 key steps to mastering bird in flight photography, so let's dive straight into it. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Thomas, and on this channel I do camera settings tutorials as well as wildlife photography tips and tricks videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. And just before we get into the training, as always, you can check out all the equipment I'm using to shoot this video and capture my own wildlife photography in the description below. So step number 1 is choosing the right shutter speed. Optimizing your shutter speed is critical to getting sharp pictures of birds in flight. And if you haven't mastered your camera's manual settings yet, go ahead and check this playlist out first, because you need to understand what each setting does for the best results. As a guideline, for bird in flight photography, you're going to want to use a very fast shutter speed, like 1/2000th of a second. Let me break this down even more for you. Larger flying birds, like herons or gulls, typically fly slow enough that you'll only need a shutter speed of 1/2000th of a second. For smaller flying birds, however, like pigeons or swifts, you're going to want to use a much faster shutter speed, like 1/3200th of a second or even 1/4000th of a second, as it's going to be a lot more difficult for your camera to freeze their motion. Step number 2 is to choose the right autofocus mode. For stationary subjects, you almost always want to use a single autofocus point and do your best to place it over the eye of the subject. However, this is very difficult to execute for fast-moving flying birds. Instead, set your camera to continuous autofocus mode and choose a group autofocus setting. This will give your camera multiple autofocus points to use, meaning it will be more likely to keep a lock on your subject as it moves unpredictably through the frame. Tip number 3 is to shoot in the golden hours. Typically, if you shoot flying birds in the midday sunlight, they'll be backlit, and this will produce less than ideal results. Having the sun lower in the sky during the morning and the evening, however, means the light should hit the underside of the bird's wing and will give that lovely golden rich tone. When you're in the right conditions, it's also important to position yourself correctly. You want to position yourself so that the sun is at your back and the wind is blowing away from you. This is because birds tend to fly into the wind, and you want them flying into the light, but you also want them flying towards your lens. So, how do you practice? The best way to start is to find some common, slower moving birds like gulls and practice tracking them in the frame and taking pictures of them. As you get better at it, you can try and move on to some faster flying birds like pigeons. And if you get really good at it, then you can try some ultra fast flying birds like swifts and swallows. Question of the day: what's your best tip for photographing flying birds? Let's share our tips in the comment section below. Alright then guys, thanks so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button if you thought it was valuable, and definitely subscribe for weekly informational videos just like this one. Until next time, stay creative and we'll talk soon.